Hey there, hello, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Yeah, it's been a while again. So yeah, where the heck have I been again, and what has been going on? First of all, I wanted to thank everybody for sticking around. It's amazing to me that anybody watches these videos, let alone actually stays subscribed to them, or subscribes to begin with, to be honest, when actually I haven't really put out a lot of content at all this year. If you haven't caught my previous video about what went on this year and over the past couple of years, then I will stick that in the cards for you. Or is it that side? That side, I think. I will stick that in the cards for you. Basically, obviously, I had every intention of kind of restarting the channel, and the sort of previous couple of videos that I put out were very much about kind of gearing up to do that. Unfortunately, I've had a number of technical issues. My main laptop that I have used for producing the videos, for editing and what have you, has basically just ground to a halt. It's not ideal. It's always kind of struggled with doing these videos, to be fair, and yeah, even more so now, it's just impossible. The last video that I recorded, which was, I think, the July plan with me, maybe, I couldn't even get it off the SD card for the camera. Since then, obviously, for those of you that aren't aware, my husband also has a YouTube channel, and he was having some difficulties as well with his laptop, so we decided to get a new machine purely to edit our respective videos. Obviously it's taken a while to sort all that out and to get it all set up, and also there's a learning curve to getting familiar with new software, because we can't use the same software that we've been using. So there's been a whole number of things that have been going on, but hopefully we're in a good place, and this will be the first of many videos, we hope. So yeah, I wanted to thank you obviously again for sticking around, and introduce this month's plan with me. So yeah, as I say, it's been a while, and it kind of made sense just to hang on a little bit for a couple of weeks. I'm actually recording this in the middle of August, so today is like the 14th of August, and I thought that by recording it early that I might give myself the sort of best opportunity to have time to edit, because there's going to be this learning curve for the software and what have you. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll get this out within the next week or so, and certainly within the next 2 weeks. But thanks for sticking around, and on with the plan with me. Okay then, so before we get started with the actual plan with me, I thought it would be a good idea to show you what you've missed. And to give you a flip through of the previous month that I posted, which I think was June. So we'll just have a quick flip through of that and see it sort of after the pen all filled out. So this was the monthly spread, and I used this kind of I don't know, I call it a flat calendar layout, I suppose, with kind of like the sort of key to-dos that I wanted to get done during the month, which some of them I didn't, and then they kind of look ahead for July. My health and wellbeing tracker, which you'll have seen a previous sort of version of, and you saw me draw this out, and you can see it all filled in. Then my kind of, what would you call it, my health tracker, which you've seen a few incarnations of over the previous couple of months. They kind of like meals, and then this was the currently loving, currently watching, currently reading, and currently listening. So this is a bit like having a memories page, but without having to actually kind of draw out or list out a bunch of memories. So these sorts of things are sort of more like actual memories, if you like, and then the sort of things that we watched, the books that I was reading, and the kind of playlists that I was listening to on Spotify. Actually I really enjoyed this, and I've kind of carried that on and stuck with it. So this was the first weekly spread. I kind of love how this little corner turned out. I had quite a bit of space left over, so if you remember, the paints that I used are very slightly iridescent, and then I had I've got a bunch of these Erin Condren stickers that are like quotes on sort of clear vinyl, and then used the gold pen just to add in to match in with this washi tape. And I love how that turned out. I really enjoyed it. Then the second week, third week, and kind of fourth week. So you can see that I did kind of less and less. I got the watercolour paints out for this one, but then didn't really. Then after that, it was all sort of pens and what have you. And I have very much discovered that I am a lazy planner when it comes to spreads, and actually, you know, I can art it up for the sort of monthly pages, and then I need it to be quick and easy to then work in it week to week and day to day. Moving on to July, we had some nice weather at the end of June, I think it was, and it really put me in the mood for sort of summer sunshine. And these stickers, I had a bunch of these stickers from the Erin Condren Summer Surprise box, and really wanted to use them. So most of this, in fact, I think all of the stickers that you see, including all of the quotes, are those stickers from the Summer Surprise box. And I had originally intended to give you an unboxing of that. And yeah, as I say, technical problems and what have you notwithstanding, I just couldn't make that work. So using roughly the same layout as June, so I had this kind of list calendar and then my sort of key to-dos and the look ahead to August. And then I kind of changed things around, so I didn't need to track as much, like the not the sleep, but what was it? It was kind of sleep and energy. So I didn't want to track that anymore. So I just tracked sleep, and I did this sort of list layout. And actually, you can see that my bedtime and my rising time is really pretty consistent, and was all in this kind of block. So it was, as a spread, I didn't really think it through. But yeah, if I was doing it again, I would probably have I don't know, put the nighttime hours in the middle of the page instead of on the fringes. Health tracker again, and then my meals list, and then you can see I did this currently loving watching, reading and listening again. So these stickers are, you can see they're all, quite a few of them are sort of foiled. Absolutely love them. A nod to the washi tape as well. This is one of the Erin Condren washi tapes, and you can see I've used it in a few places. So I think I used it on the weekly spreads as well. And then I had this glittery washi tape, which I was given this from Jess, I think it was. So thanks for that, Jess, because I've used it loads. It was a box of like 10 glitter washi tapes, and if you think back to like my Christmas ones, you can see the pages here are edged with the glitter tapes, and they're lovely. They're very sparkly. They don't shed glitter either, and they're not like weirdly sticky, strange or whatever. And I used this one because it reminded me of sand. In fact, I think, there you go. It was like, it really super reminded me of sand, and I'll just kind of try and give you a sense of the glitter. So yeah, that's the washi tapes. And then so this is the first week. You see more of that tape there. And I had this big space again, so you can see that I didn't write anything up for the Sunday. I can't really remember what was going on particularly. I think I just had a day where I didn't really plan anything out. So I used up this space with some stickers and washi. Here I have this stamp from K & Company, which is one of the Smashbook kind of stamps, and you can set a date. It's a bit like a library stamp. You can set a date, and then there's these kind of like phrases, I suppose. So I tried this a couple of times, and I've discovered I absolutely freaking hate it. So I am probably going to give this away to a friend maybe, or I don't know, stick it on eBay so that somebody else can hopefully get some joy from it. But I tried it a couple of times here. it's not easy to stamp on this part of the book anyway, because obviously I didn't have a lot left, so it was kind of bendy, which didn't help. Yeah, so ended up not using that anymore. But nevertheless, and you can see I didn't really like plan a lot that week either, and used up a whole bunch of space up here, and yeah. And then I think this was the final week of July, not quite the final week, so the second to last week of July. I kind of love how this turned out. Just, I suppose the teals and blues are really kind of, I don't know, soothing for me or something. And then my final kind of week in July, and again, I didn't do a whole lot of planning. I've got this big gap here, and given that I have hardly any space left in the in this particular notebook, I'm probably not going to fill it in with anything at any point. Yeah, maybe at some point I might stick something in there, but yeah. And that is kind of the end of this book. So you can see I only had literally just a couple of pages left before I got into my like pen testing and stamp testing and what have you. So actually this particular notebook is now done and retired. And I think probably what I will do is give you a review of it, because if any of you have arrived at me through my one and only quote-unquote viral video, then you'll have seen me choose this one out of quite a big stack of notebooks, and so I thought it would be a really good idea to go back and give you a proper review of it, having used it for nearly a year. When did I start this? I can't remember. September. So yeah, basically 11 months worth. So I will do that, and I'll pop that up on the channel at some point in the future. So, new bullet journal time, and this is what we're working with. So this is, I was originally going to use one of the other notebooks that I reviewed. So one of the notebooks was, I think it was the Scribble and Dot notebook, which I was really impressed with, and the other one that I want to try, and I've obviously still got it, and that was what I was planning on using. However, Leuchtturm, sorry, I need to put my teeth in, Leuchtturm 1917, who I have used for all of my bullet journals until the most recent one that I've just finished, have released this. This is the 120 GSM version, I think, of the 1917. So it is thicker paper, and it is, yeah, so it's 203 pages. It's about the same as the previous edition, and or the normal edition, so to speak, and still has two ribbons, still has the pocket at the back. It's just thicker pages. So I saw this come out, it was Mark at Men Who Bullet on Instagram posted about it, and I was so excited because I've always loved the Leuchtturm notebooks. They were the first notebook I had, first bullet journal I had, and I stuck with it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notebooks. And I was just getting such crappy paper quality in the very last one that I just couldn't stand it. It was really not working with the Tombow marker pens, even though it was the same journal and the same paper that I'd been using for years. It just seemed to be that the paper quality had degraded. So I was really excited to try this. So I ordered it on the spot. It's the first and only time I have ever paid full price for a Leuchtturm notebook. I didn't want to risk missing out. I didn't want to risk it going out of stock. The colour range is super limited, so I can't remember I think there's like 4 colours to choose from. Unfortunately, blue kind of works with where I'm up to in my rainbow. But I will put a list up here or something like that that gives you the list of colours. I think there's like 4 or 5 colours. But yeah, so this is what we're working with. So unfortunately, not only have you missed a couple of plan with me, you've also missed me setting up a bullet journal, which is a real shame, but it is 120 GSM. That's what I was looking for when I was flicking through the pages. And yeah, so I will just give you a quick flip through of what I've set up. So you've got the indexes, and there's 2 index pages. I don't index every page anyway. Then there's the kind of front facing page. So this is the first dot grid. I'm going to put a quote on here or something like that, but I haven't got around to it yet. I don't really know what I want to put there. Just a note before we go any further, you can see that even though this is 120 GSM, the ghosting is still really quite bad. So if ghosting is something that really bothers you, then again, as I've always said with Leuchtturm notebooks, then Leuchtturm is not the brand for you because they do ghost. They also have this kind of ivory coloured paper. It's quite yellowish compared with the Wordsmith Black. You can see this is very white. This is really kind of like creamy coloured. So again, if that's something that, I mean, it can be really nice working on an ivory paper, but obviously again, it's not necessarily for everyone. So yeah, so here we are then. This is the future log. In setting this up, I was kind of like, I don't really know what I want to do, you know, from the point of view of like design or style, and I just eventually just sort of went, you know what, I just really need to keep it simple. When I was setting this up, I had a fair bit going on with work and stuff, so I just kind of went with colours of the rainbow. So pretty much everything in these pages is colours of the rainbow. So the first month that I put in this was August, so there was no point putting August in the future log. Arguably there wasn't a lot of point putting September in as well, but I always start at the next month. So we've got September to February is the first page of the future log, and then I do March to July, and then a column for everything beyond. So this is kind of 22 to 23, and what I've done, you probably can't easily see it because it's on the purple, but this band, rather than having dates, is split into the future months. So this is August 22, September 22, so on and so forth, and January 23, and carries on. So that's the future log. I really like how it turned out. It's really, really super simple. It didn't take very long. It probably took me longer to decide what I wanted to do than it did to actually like draw it up, and then obviously writing in the dates over and over again was pretty frustrating. The other thing as well, you'll notice that I've got 31 days. Each one of these columns is basically the same length, so like for February I wrote out 31 days, and that was because when I originally drew it up, I wasn't sure which month I was going to start it with, whether I was going to start it with September or start it with October, and eventually I just went, never mind, and just wrote in 31 days for every month. At some point I'll go back and I'll probably cross-hatch across the bottom of the months that aren't 31 days. So that's the future log. Moving on, I have my grid spacing guide. Now, in the past I've put this right at the front. Last bullet journal I used a single page grid spacing guide, which was this one. I hated it. When I was referring back to it, I found it really confusing having all of these markings on one page. So my advice, if somebody was setting up something like this, is to maybe use different colours for your horizontal and your vertical columns. Horizontal and verticals, and maybe forego writing in the numbers. And this is more similar to the style that I used in the previous bullet journal, where I have like blocks. So you can see what I've done is it's 1 column, 2 columns, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then how many dot grid spaces it is. So 26, 13, 8, so each one of these is 8 spaces, and you can see that the spaces in between, 6 spaces, 5, and so on. And then this is for the horizontals, so we've got 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, 6 rows, 7 rows, 8 rows, 9 rows, and then obviously how many dot grid spaces each one is. So 37 is the full page, 18, 12, 9, 7, etc. And then I just coloured it in pretty rainbow colours, and this is probably one of my most favourite pages. I love looking at it. It's so bright, it's so colourful, it's really clear, it's really handy to refer to, and I don't know, I'm probably going to stick with something like this style from now on, to be fair. My Tombow colour chart, I did this in the previous journal, and with a similar kind of layout with the little boxes. The only thing that I've changed this time around is instead of going down columns, I go across rows. So they basically, you've got that as a row and then that in sequence order. I don't put them in rainbow order, it just confuses me. I put them in number order. The only thing to note is that the pages, the number of spaces, dot spaces, grid spaces in this journal is actually ever so slightly less than both the Wordsworth and Black, which isn't surprising because it's slightly bigger, but actually the previous Leuchtturms as well. So I ended up with the last row of colours on this page. Because I hadn't particularly planned it out, I was just kind of copying it up from what I did the previous notebook. My header could have done with being 1 row shorter, or not there at all, and maybe in this space in the middle or something like that, because my colours at the bottom only have one little row for the colour, but it's no big deal anyway. Then we've got a couple of pages that I've done a watch list, I think, in most of my journals. So this is basically just like movies and TV series that I want to get into. It's a reminder to me, and nothing more than a reminder of things that you know, I've seen trailers for or seen advertised, that I really want to watch. And it's just there as kind of like, when I'm sat around and I want to watch a movie and I don't know what to watch, I can flick to this. Or if I'm looking for a TV series to watch, not that I have a lot of time for either at the moment, but then I can just refer to this, and instead of having to like remember the things that I've seen advertised that I want to watch, I can flick to this. The only downside is that I keep having to reduce things on the list. So I keep having to cull my list, and that's not because I'm watching things, it's because I'm maintaining this long list. At one point I think I could have filled both of these columns right at the start of the notebook, and yeah, so unfortunately I do have to kind of cull it every now and again and remove things that I know that I'm just not going to get to. Never mind. This spread is I don't know if, I'm just going to fish this out. I don't know if anybody's familiar with socks bands. I love them, so I've been getting them for a while. Anyway, they released this one, which is Mission Accomplished. I will get it out of the packet for you, which has these little white crosses on it. And the idea is that because you can colour Zox bands, you can colour them with, I've used an alcohol marker here, but you can colour them with like Sharpie markers as well. And they're made from recycled bottles, I think. So this was one that they released, which is called Mission Accomplished, hence the title of the page, which is about goal setting. So it's to kind of encourage you to set a goal and achieve it. And you get to colour in, the idea is you colour in one of the crosses for each of the goals that you achieve. Rather than making each one of these crosses an individual goal, this is, for me, about losing weight. So now you're all going to know how heavy I am, because this is the one and only one that I have been able to colour in, was when I lost a little bit of weight and got under 16 stone. So this is basically because, hilariously, I can't ever remember at what stage I'm supposed to colour these in. So yeah, I wrote it down, and yeah, so the idea is that I have one hexagon for each one of the crosses on the Zox band, and I am going to colour in each one as I achieve that weight, and it's just going to help me keep track of when I can colour in the band and where I'm up to. I know it's stupid, I should know what it means, but what can I say? My memory is terrible, which is probably why I like bullet journaling so much. These 2 pages, I think these are the last, yeah, these are the last ones of the kind of general setup pages. So this is dead straightforward, measurements, and you can see I ran out of space. I should have sketched it out before I went ahead and wrote it in. Stupid me. And then wish list. So measurement is basically all of the things that are handy to keep, the measurements that are handy to keep. So like, this is the dimensions of the spare room, and anytime I measure anything in the house, I write it down, because I will need to refer to it at some point. So I've carried this over a couple of times now. I think I started it as like a random collection in my green bullet journal, and I've just carried it over because it's been so handy not having to remeasure things. And then my wish list. So this is kind of like all of the things that I see like for sale and stuff that I think either I want or perhaps I might get for somebody else. And effectively, I think I've done this a couple of times and called it like want and need, and I've had a list for the things that I need as well. In fact, I'll show you what I mean actually instead of talking like that. So there you go, wish list. So I had want and I had need, and it was just really handy because when birthdays and Christmases came around, if somebody said to me, what do you want for your birthday, or what do you want for Christmas, then I usually conveniently had some things that I could stick in a list. So hence why I've done it this way. Instead of having want and need, I don't need to make a note of things I need. I know I need them. But actually one of the things that I have added is where I might buy something as a gift for somebody else, or the next time I'm doing an order. So most of these are Shop Disney, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I'm doing an order for something as a gift for somebody, if there's something I want, then I can add it in. If I'm ordering something for myself, and or if there's like a sale or I've got a discount code, then it means that I can remember and go and order something for somebody else. So that is my bullet journal setup. So that is my bullet journal setup for this current bullet journal. So I'm expecting this one will probably last in the region of 10 or 11 months. I usually don't quite get a year out of a bullet journal. My early ones I did just about fit a year in. So I think my first one and my second one. My first one I had space left. My second one I really had to plan very carefully at the end of the year, and I've never managed to fit a whole year in a bullet journal since. It's always been either 11 months or 10 months. So I'm expecting similar with this one. So we'll crack on, and I will show you, before I move on to the September setup. God, it's weird saying September. I will show you what I have done so far for August. So then this is my August spread, and I kind of wanted to, after the July plan with me, with the little summery sort of beach stickers, I really wanted to go with something that was not stickers anymore, or not entirely stickers, and so that I could kind of get back to drawing some things. And I still wanted something that was quite summery. Again, kind of start of the month, the weather was quite good. It's not right now, but that's okay. So I kind of went with this sort of theme of summery sort of looking cocktails. and it's really bright and cheerful, and I love it. So here is my sort of month calendar again. So I've gone with this list calendar, and then you can see I've got my currently reading, loving reading, watching and listening on the right hand side. You might wonder about the amount of space I've taken up here. I almost never have loads of things in the listening list, and likewise with reading. I enjoy reading very much, and I read pretty much every day, but I usually only read a couple of pages at night before I go to sleep. So I never get through a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't need a lot of space for these two things, whereas I tend to need a bit more space for these two. And then over the page, we've got the health tracker. Halfway through the month, and you can see some of these things I do really consistently, and some of them I don't do so consistently, but that's fine. My kind of food options, choices, and I love how this little thing at the bottom here turned out, this little doodle drawing at the bottom turned out. It's just, yeah, every now and again I draw something and think, okay, maybe I can actually draw. This will be the other thing about the Leuchtturm. So Leuchtturm notoriously has become worse and worse at bleed through as well as ghosting. It's always been really bad for ghosting, and then over time the bleed throughs got pretty bad as well. Now this did bleed through. It bled through at the bottom here, and you can see it really super clearly, but that is because I went over this, I don't know, about 4 or 5 times with the marker, and actually to the extent that it started to take the surface off the page. So that is not the paper. This is pretty heavy work right here as well. I went over this a few times, and you can see it's barely even, I mean, it's ghosting, but it didn't bleed through, whereas this obviously did. So that's my fault, not the paper's fault. Moving onwards, what I decided to do for this month is, rather than do the week on a page and then do the kind of dailies, what I've got is I've just got my master to-do list. So pretty much anything that I want to do at any given point in time gets added to the list, and then I'll tick it off as I go. And then do daily pages. So I don't really have a weekly spread anymore in this, and I'm giving that a try just to kind of pare down my pages a bit, and because I got a bit bored with it, to be fair. The weekly spread worked really well for me, and it worked for a very long time really well for me, but I just kind of, yeah, I moved on a little bit. I wanted a change, and then so this is where we're now up to. So you can see that kind of this spread, these dailies, that was, I didn't have Monday in here. Why didn't I have Monday in here? We were on holiday and we came back on the Sunday, and Monday was mental. I had the Tuesday to Sunday, but still had space, so I put Monday on here as well. And this is the nice thing about if you do dailies rather than weeklies, then you don't have to waste a bunch of space. If you get to the end of the week and you've got some space, you can still put in the next day. And this is kind of what I've done this week. So you can see that I've got obviously today here, and I've got some stuff that I can tick off in a minute. But all I'm really doing is kind of going like this across the page, and then that will actually take me up to Sunday, and then I'll just carry on. So I've left a couple of pages, as we're only at the middle of the month. I'm going to leave these 2 pages, not those 2 pages, these 2 pages, 3 pages I should say, to get me to the end of August. So I think that will probably be mostly next week, and then so that will take me up to the 21st-ish, 21st, 22nd, and then I've got another week in August, and possibly like a few days before we get to the beginning of September. So I'm going to leave these 3 pages blank and start September here. And you can see I've already done some sketching out, so I feel like I've talked for hours. In fact, it probably is close to an hour, so this video is probably going to be super long, and some of the stuff I filmed I'm probably not going to put in it, but hey, you know, that's what we're here for, I suppose. So let's get cracking. I will shut up, I will put the music on, and we'll get going. just before we do get going, actually, I will just kind of talk you through my tools. So obviously I've got my trusty microns that I'm going to use. The theme for the month that I'm going with is kind of, I had this washi tape, which is kind of super big washi tape that I can't get the end off. Hang on. There we go. So this is a washi tape from London Gifties, and you can see it's all lovely, beautiful, artistic. That's my dog saying hello because he's just back from his walk. Lovely artistic coffee cups. So that was kind of like what I wanted to do as the theme. I've got plans for October, and I've got plans for November, and then December will probably be something sort of a bit Christmassy. So this is the last month I'm going to have to use this washi tape for this year, and I've been holding on to this for a couple of months now, really excited to use it. So we'll do this, we'll do the coffee theme. So as a result, I've kind of picked out a little colour palette here in the Tombos. So I always pick about 4 colours. And I mean, the current month I've got about 8, I don't know. But the colour numbers that we've got here is we've got 977 is this one, which is kind of like a mid-brown. Sorry, 969 is the first number, that's the dark one. Then I've got 977, which is the mid-brown, 992, which is the light brown, and then this is N89, I think it is, which is a warm grey. These colours look really nice together, so we'll use those. And then because of the sort of general colour palette, I'm going back to my, this is a Pilot Metropolitan, I think it is in the States. I can't remember what the UK version or the European version is called, but it's basically Pilot fountain pen. It's cartridge pen. Takes a standard cartridge. This is a diamine ink that I've got in it. I think it's called Autumn Oak. It's kind of like an orangey brown. It's really nice. And then I also have these 3 washi tapes, which I may or may not use. So that is obviously quite a nice sort of creamy coffee sort of colour. We've got this one, which is multicoloured, but it's the tones are very similar to, and because it's got the cream background, it's very similar to the London Gifties washi tape. And then I've got this one that I've used before, which is a sort of copper colour metallic tape, skinny tape that I've got, and that was from Paper Chase, I think it was, in a set. I think that one came from Amazon. That one's an Erin Condren washi tape. So that's what we're going to use, and hopefully, yeah, all good. Let's get started. Okay, so there we are, it's all drawn out. I have forgotten to write the numbers in on the calendar here, and I haven't filled it in yet with the kind of stuff that I would carry over, just because, as I say, this is the middle of August so far, so I haven't really sort of set anything up other than the sort of basic setup. But there you go, there is the monthly spread. Interestingly, right from the get-go, I don't know, I just didn't really want to use a lot of black. I wanted to stick to the sort of brown and grey colour palette mostly, so I ended up drawing out a lot of the grids and stuff with the Tombow markers, and I think it works really, really well. So it's something to bear in mind. And this washi tape is just amazing. It was everything that I thought it would be. You can kind of tell from this page that what it's printed on the background of the washi tape is sort of transparent, so you can see the outline of it and stuff, and you can definitely feel it, but actually it's so light pale, it's just really lovely. It looks like you've sketched in your journal, or I've sketched in the journal, which obviously have saved me loads of time, and yeah, I guess I just don't have the patience for drawing and sketching at the moment, but I get a really nice effect from this washi tape, so I'm gonna have to invest in some more, but I thought this turned out really nicely, and I'm looking forward to using it. The health spread, again, this is the only place where I've used black ink, and I have realised that I forgot to draw in my icons across the top, so I'll do that afterwards. But what I did to get nice clean lines on this header, I put washi tape down, and when I peeled it off, it's actually taken the surface off here, so it's ever so slightly sort of bled through on the reverse side, but it's really not noticeable, so thank goodness for that. And then you can see some more of the washi tape here. When I was drawing this out and when I was filming it, I did use some of the skinny washi tape, and I didn't like how it looked, so I've lifted it off and I put some of the Erin Condren tape down instead. And actually I really like how this looks, because even the blues and greens tone really nicely with the blues and greens in the washi tape, so it works really well. And then finally, I almost forgot to draw this out, and that is my sort of master task list. So from here onwards, it will basically just be daily pages, and this will be my kind of main task list. And that is it. That is everything that I have for you for the month of September for the Plan With Me. And I can't believe it took me longer to film the intro stuff than it did to actually like draw this out. So I don't know, when I come to edit it, I might leave it in real time for you rather than speed it up, because actually this was a super quick layout, and it's actually worked out really well. And I feel like this is something that even like if you're a complete beginner, if you had some washi tape that was like this, or some stickers that were like this, then you could achieve a really similar effect. And I'm really pleased with how it looks. So yeah, you'll get to see how it all turned out filled in when I film my next Plan With Me. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you like how it's turned out as much as I do. Thank you for watching and for giving up your time to spend it with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna go and now move this footage onto the new machine and try and edit it. So wish me luck, and hopefully you'll be seeing this next weekend. If it takes me longer than that to figure out how to edit it, then maybe it'll be a couple of weeks, but it should still be in before the end of August, which is a bonus. So again, thank you for spending your time with me, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.